What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bucco Territory, presented to you by the Foul Territory Network. I am your host, Noah Hiles, and as always, joining me are Platinum Key, aka Mark, and Jorge, aka the newest member of the Hall of Pretty Good. That is how we're starting today's show. We actually have another surprise guest joining the show. It is the commissioner of the Hall of Pretty Good, on to officially
Caught me
congratulate
off guard.
Josh.
Josh,
Mr. Hall, Mr. Hall of Pretty Good, please introduce yourself.
my name is Bryce Whitlow. I run the Hall of Pretty Good social media accounts, just like you said. And Josh, I just wanted to take a second and congratulate you on being the 35th member of the illustrious Hall of Pretty Good. 81% of over 35,000 votes. That's huge. How does it feel to be inducted into the Hall of Pretty Good?
Oh man, it's an honor, man. Appreciate, I think I saw the tweet said I was the first pirate as well. So definitely
Yes.
honored. When I saw Noah's tweet saying I can tell somebody that I'm a co-host with, that's what made me spark off like, hold on, what happened? It was one of those things where I read and I thought, oh man, that's pretty cool. Accolades continue to come even when you're not looking for them, no matter how big, how small. Grateful for all of it.
And I
Now,
know the term pretty good might make you laugh or something like that, but I just want you to know it is a genuine appreciation of your skill set and your talent as a player. I mean, you meant a lot to a lot of people. I'm in a J. Hay jersey
Oh,
right
I
now. I
see.
bought it at the PNC when I was a teenager. So it meant a lot to watch you play. I was a big fan, and I just wanted to congratulate you face to face in a way.
Oh no, I appreciate it, man. And no, I didn't take it as any slight or anything. Like it wasn't, I just looked at it as like, oh man, that's kind of dope. I didn't know that existed, and it was just one of those things where it caught me off guard, but I enjoyed it.
Bryce, I have a few questions for you. I've been following your account for a while. I feel like I was around when you were just getting started.
Mhm.
So tell us, take us through the genesis of this and give us some background. Are you a Pirates fan? And just a baseball fan? Tell us your backstory and how this account got started.
So honestly, I'm a Red Sox fan. I'm sorry. I know that's kind of odd to be on a Pirates podcast, but I have a genuine appreciation for all players and all teams. The account started as just a way to appreciate, guys who aren't in the Hall of Fame necessarily. Because I mean, there's plenty of players like Josh who made a couple All-Star teams, over 1,000 hits, very productive members on playoff teams. But once they retire, it's kind of if they're not in the Hall of Fame, you don't see too much appreciation from them on like MLB's social media accounts. And so I kind of just wanted to create a baseball community where we could appreciate guys like Josh Harrison, or other members. I think of like a Steve Cishek or a Hideki Matsui, Shane Victorino. Just that type of lane is kind of where I wanted to specialize in. And they've always been my favorite types of players as well. And so it's just a way to get in touch with your nostalgia. Like how you ever sat around with your friends and just named random ball players, like role
Oh yeah.
players,
Yeah,
1 year
Bryce,
all
little
stars, or
bit of lore. When Noah was on the Pirates beat, there would always be a rain delay, name a random infielder or something from the 2000s, right? Noah?
Yeah. Yeah. And those would get like 150 replies.
Yeah.
Guys love naming dudes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So your
yes.
your content, Bryce, is right up our alley.
What's
How
the
long
one
have you
game
been
that
doing
people
this?
do the grid?
Oh,
That's
Yeah.
Immaculate
like
Grid.
the
Yeah.
yeah, yep. Sorry,
Bryce, how
cut you
long
off.
have you been doing this?
How long? I started in January of 2024, so almost 2 years now.
Okay. And have you met
Yeah,
any other Hall of Pretty Good inductees?
I've never met any of them in person or anything. Just like this over a podcast, I met with Steve Cishek, first ever member. That was really cool. But this is pretty much a first for me ever getting to do anything like this, and it just made my whole year. Seriously.
Bryce, really
Awesome.
quick question for you. For those that aren't familiar, what are the requirements for someone to be a Hall of Pretty Good member?
Yeah, so like I said, we're trying to appreciate, some guys who aren't in the Hall of Fame, maybe popped up on the ballot for a year or two. So the requirements, you got to be officially retired, obviously, or inactive for 3 seasons, not in Cooperstown, of course. You got to have a B WAR of 38.6 or lower. And that seems kind of random, but that's Harold Baines's B WAR. And so I wanted to keep it a little bit below that. No Cy Youngs, no MVPs, and you can't be in the top 15 in saves. And so, other than that, you are eligible. So, it's a pretty wide range of different guys from different eras. And I think Josh Harrison perfectly embodies the type of person we're looking to honor with this account.
Final question here for you, Bryce. Now, you said Jay Hay's the first Pirate. What other
Yes.
Pirates do you have in mind to contend for the next spot in the Hall of Pretty Good?
If I'm thinking, since we got a position player and I'm thinking pitching, somebody like an AJ Burnett, I think would be a great add to the Hall of Pretty Good. Francisco Liriano too, and then you also have that bullpen. I think of a guy like Tony Watson, Jason Grilling,
Right.
Mark Melanson, just I mean, Joel Hanrahan even. Like I would love to appreciate that bullpen because
Shark
what
Tank.
Josh Harrison and all those guys were doing was amazing. But that bullpen was lights out for a few years there. So I'd love to appreciate those guys.
Yeah, that
Bryce, you
bullpen
really
was called the Shark Tank, and I was an honorary member of the Shark Tank. I got my first pitching appearance in Colorado, so they gave me a shirt. All those guys you mentioned, like Grilly, Melanson, like all those guys. So when you said that, I was like, nah, they were referred to as the Shark Tank.
Bryce, you really know your baseball, man. We really appreciate you having or coming on with us. And again, congrats to Josh Harrison, the newest member of the Hall of Pretty Good.
Appreciate
Yep,
it.
it was an
Bryce.
honor. It was an honor. Thank you guys, and congrats, Josh. This was amazing. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Bryce. Thank you.
Bye.
So now that we're done talking about Josh's accolades, we're going to get into some current baseball here. But before we do so, we're going to take a quick break to hear from our sponsors.
For all the parents out there with teenagers like Kratz, we know life's a little crazy.
Yeah, Cash App's here to not add to the craziness. They're here to help.
Yeah, Kratz, Cash App is designed to meet teens aged 13 to 17 where they are with intuitive educational tools. Available through sponsorship by an eligible parent or guardian, teens gain access to a personalized Cash App card. With the Cash App card, you and your teen's balances receive 24/7 fraud monitoring, and if something ever feels off, you have the ability to lock their card right from your phone in just one tap. Download Cash App and get started today. For a limited time, new Cash App customers can earn $10 if they use code FAMILY10 in their profile at sign up and send $5 to a friend within 14 days. Terms apply. Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partners. Prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC. Direct deposit and promotions provided by Cash App, a Block Inc. brand. Visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosures.
All right, guys. So an active weekend on the hot stove. Jorge Polanco signs a 2-year, $40 million deal with the Mets. Adolis Garcia, a 1-year, $10 million deal with the Phillies. That happened today, I believe. We're recording this on Monday. Both of these are just notable deals because we're at the point in the offseason where every time a hitter signs in free agency and it's not a deal with the Pittsburgh Pirates, a large contingent of the fan base will start to freak out. And deservedly so. Again, as we've said numerous times on this show, fans have every right to be skeptical of all these reports about the Pirates' desires to spend and make a difference and do something different. And every time a new name falls off the board, it's one less that the Pirates can do to add. So I'll open up the floor here. We'll start talking about Polanco originally. There were a couple things that were interesting to me about this. The first being that he was reportedly going to be more of a first base and designated hitter than a second baseman. So he's essentially just Pete Alonso's replacement for the Mets. And then the other was the AAV, 2 years, $40 million. He's getting $20 million a year. That seems like a bit of an overpay in my opinion. I'll let you guys discuss both matters. We'll start with Josh. Josh, your overall thoughts on that move by the Mets?
Yeah, when I saw the report that said he was going to play first base and DH, that definitely made me not necessarily say he was Pete Alonso's replacement, but now that you said that, that's what I could see it as. But also know he has the ability to bounce around and play second, third base. Still don't know what they're going to do with McNeil. So he could also provide something that might not just be first base DH. He might find his way playing a little bit of second base here and there. But the 2 years for $20 million, I know it was projected, I think 3 years around 55, but at the same time, he probably got a deal that he liked, but he also said he wanted to be somewhere where he felt he can win. Maybe this is a place where he feels he can win. The overpay could be something where he's looking at as well. Or the Mets, they didn't go the third year, but that overpay, when you look at taxes and living in New York, might really offset. So if you're asking me, I don't know if it really is an overpay because he's going to be coming out of pocket for something with those, New York taxes. But maybe that he felt that was the best fit for him, playing in the postseason again and getting a chance to win a ring. But as you said, another player off the board for the Pirates, which means you got to pivot left or right. But I don't think the Pirates were looking for him to play first in DH. At least I don't think.
No, I don't think so either. I think their intention was more for him to play in the infield. Mark, I want to ask you, I mean, even with their intention to spend a little bit more money this offseason, obviously the Pirates' budget isn't the same size as the Mets' budget. Would it have been in their best interest to give $20 million a year to a guy like Jorge Polanco, who is good, but he's not Kyle Schwarber, Pete Alonso type of an impact on the lineup?
I think the Pirates have to look at that and just say, we can spend that $20 million a lot better elsewhere. But you do get to the panic point where it's like the Pirates are going to have to go over market to sign a lot of these guys. So, I mean, if it was $20 million to the Pirates, that makes more sense for Polanco. But $20 million to the Mets, it just seemed a little weird to me, especially playing him out of position. But, I mean, if the Mets want all second basemen, they're on their way. But I thought Josh brought up an interesting point. Like, maybe they move McNeil. Maybe that's just a public-facing statement right now. Like, oh, we're going to play him at first. We don't need to trade McNeil yet, and don't want to lose any leverage with that. But, yeah, I mean, it would be – I wouldn't hate it for the Pirates. It would be an overpay if they gave Polanco that deal. But you're the Pirates. You got to do something to convince guys. And so, yeah, I wouldn't have hated it, but wouldn't have been my first choice either.
Yeah, I mean, I look at that deal and I think that would have been the type of overpay they could make for that type of player. Like, I would, if they made that offer to Polanco, I would say that's an overpay, but that's what you're going to have to do if you're the Pirates. I also think the Mets overpaid because they were panicking too. They in this offseason, they've traded away Nimmo. They have watched Pete Alonso go, and it looks like McNeil's on his way out.
And Edwin Diaz too.
And
I was about to say,
yeah, and the best closer in baseball is gone. So, their team is quickly vanishing, and I know they probably want to shed a little bit of payroll because they have all this young pitching coming up, and they might be willing to invest in that, or who knows what the Mets are going to do financially just any year. But I think that they were willing to overpay, and the Mets just. When two teams are overpaying for your services, you're going to go to the better one. Right. And the Mets, despite missing the playoffs this past year, I mean, you're going to be in a lineup with Lindor and Soto and some other guys as well. So I think there was a lot to like, I guess, if you're Polanco. And then Adolis Garcia, we can move on now to the Phillies, 1 year, $10 million deal. I don't think this was an overpay. I think this is pretty par for the course. I don't think the Pirates were super in on him. At least that's not what I heard. And I don't think it's a huge miss, but this is another guy where it's like 1 year, $10 million, that's not breaking the bank. That's the type of signing they should be making while they're looking to hone in on a bigger acquisition. And when you're seeing teams like the Phillies do this and in other clubs, it's like, like Mark, you kind of mentioned, you're starting to see just like, all right, well, how are they going to spend money as these names continue to go away?
And I think there's still plenty of moves that you can make if you're the Pirates. I mean, if you're a fan, you just have to look. I mean, you still got Ryan O'Hearn. There's still Eugenio Suarez. There's both of the Japanese players still, Munetaka Murakami, Kasuma Okamoto. There's still plenty of options, and that's just free agency. You still have trades, So there's plenty of ways that this team can still be a lot better. But I think we all were expecting to see a little bit more at this point, given the rhetoric out of the Pirates front office coming into this offseason.
Josh, if you're a player that's a free agent right now and the Pirates have been talking to you and you hear about how they want to invest, how they want to be different, and if you're skeptical about that, are you waiting for them to make another move? Do you think that them trading for a Brandon Lau or a Ketel Marte or a Jeff McNeil, do you think acquiring one of those three guys will help them land a free agent signing as opposed to the other way around where they might need to make that signing first and then see how they can complement it through trade. Do you think the trade it's gotten to a point where the trade has to show that they actually mean business at this point?
I don't want to say yes and I don't want to say no. Because everybody's going to be subjective to their own decision based off of where they want to go, what they feel. But it does get to a point to where, it makes you wonder, would Schwarber had entertained it if there was another move made that made it seem like, okay, yeah, they say they want to go for it, but I'm just one guy. What if everybody's having this thought? I'm just one guy. Well, if they were to go make a trade or whatever you say, it could entice, a Mitch Keller trade could bring back somebody, that we've talked about that might be okay. I see the offense could be a little better, is going to be a little bit better with the acquisition of this guy. But, it could be a thing too, where once you're a free agent, you're also in a situation where the ball is in your court and you're going to make a decision based off what's best for you. At least you would think. And for teams like the Pirates, we keep saying they're going to have to overpay. And the question is, who do you overpay? What makes sense? Because Adolis signed to the Phillies for $10 million, but for the Pirates, Pirates might have had to go to 15 to sign him.
Yeah.
Just based off of the nature that the Pirates are in with, the signings of free agents and the stuff that they're in. So a trade could be a possibility where you trade for, you trade Mitch Keller or you trade for Brandon Lau. Okay, now a free agent might be like, okay, I know I can help anchor this lineup, but they might be like, hey, I can help anchor this lineup, but what about the other, 6, 7 spots?
Where's my protection? Yeah.
Yes.
I think at this point, Josh, I want to follow up on one of the things you said. Who are you going to overpay at this point? Because that's a great question where I don't know how many overpay-worthy guys are still out there that can be difference makers. I mean, I think Gino Suarez is one for sure, Ryan O'Hearn. But, those guys are a little older, especially Gino. Do you look at the international market at this point and you just say, look, this is a bigger risk, but if you overpay for Murakami, if it hits, then you might end up getting a bargain here, which is ultimately what every team's looking to get. They're looking to get a player who plays above the value of which they're paying them. In Murakami's case here, where he is probably the highest caliber international free agent this offseason, he's only 25 years old. He's got a lot to prove. There are going to be other teams certainly interested in his services, but is that the case where the Pirates, they're going to have to take a gamble either way, and it may be offering the highest payday to a player like that with a team of their payroll will be a huge gamble, but maybe they're just in a position where that big of a gamble makes sense. Mark?
Josh, I think it really comes down to what the scouting department is telling them. Because it's a huge risk. It's a clear NPB is a very different league from MLB, but at the same time, Murakami, he's a guy with 80 grade power. He's 25. How many times are the Pirates going to have a chance to sign a guy that says, "Hey, I'm 25. I don't want to play with any other Japanese players." So I think there's a lot of reason. There's a gap at third base. Murakami makes a ton of sense. And then for Okamoto, I feel like he's a lot less risky than Murakami. Higher floor, lower ceiling. He's 29. Also brings some power, but has better bat to ball skills. So I think Okamoto makes a lot of sense for the Pirates, where it's low risk for as far as international signings go. He could still be like a Seiya Suzuki, where he is all right, but he's overpaid. So I don't know. I think it makes a lot of sense for the Pirates to go after these guys because you just don't see that kind of caliber talent for them available too often. But again, you're going to have to overpay because you're the Pirates on the most risky players in the free agency market. And that's just a recipe to end up with egg on your face. So I don't know. It's I really like Murakami. Okamoto seems like a great signing. But I'd be head over heels with either, at least initially. We'll see how they play. But
I mean, one was my kind of guess that I said we might sign before with holidays or whatever. So as I said, I'm right with you on that. But I mean, the whole overpay thing, that's just the nature of what it sounds like the Pirates are going to have to do. You know, whether you're overpaying 1 million, 500, whatever the market is, it seems as if you're going to have to overpay what other teams are offering. And
Yeah, and
who
just for
knows?
reference, Murakami projecting like 6 years, 140 million. So like around like 23 million AAV. And if he does sign with an MLB team, it has to be by December 22nd.
So that's coming up quick. I mean,
Yeah.
that is what? That's Monday. So
Yep.
a week from today, he's got to sign. So,
Yeah.
Got to sign somewhere.
And then Okamoto's is January 4th.
Okay.
And his
So-
like projected AAV is like 16, 17 million range for like 3 to 5 years.
Okay.
So a little bit more affordable, but again, those are just projections, and bump that up 5-10 million for the Pirates for if you want to be competitive.
Right.
So the way I look at it, I think the biggest move they're going to make at this point in the offseason, I think the biggest move that they're going to make is come through a trade. I'm looking at it now. I have 4 names written down. I mean, Ketel Marte is the highest caliber guy I think they could go after. But 3 other names that I think are very realistic for them to go and get are Lau, McNeil, and then because of the Alonso signing, Ryan Mountcastle, I think makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And I think that all 3 of those guys, based off of their years of remaining control, might not require a Mitch Keller to be on the other end of the deal to get. So that's the other question here now is how much of the young pitching are you willing to give up for any of those guys? And between those 3, who is the best fit that you think for this lineup? Is it Mountcastle, who could be a right-hander at first base? He could play a little outfield. You could DH him. Is it McNeil, or is it Lau, who I believe has the least amount of control of the 3, but probably the best offensive production? At this point, if you could pick one of those 3, which one are you guys going for?
Take it away, Josh.
I'm still going to go with Lau. Mountcastle, right-handed hitter. I think adding a left-handed power bat is going to be able to help. And McNeil obviously can make the lineup longer, but I think you need a bat that they're going to be that needs to be an impact bat.
I completely agree. Lau checks off a lot of boxes. He brings left-handed hitting. He's got power. He's got the pop in that bat. And he's at a position of need if you're trying to improve second base. So it makes a ton of sense. And even with the 1 year left on his contract, if you can't sign any free agents, why don't you just extend him? Take that money and offer him an extension. Maybe show him, hey, Pittsburgh's great. You love it here. You like our staff. You like the players. Maybe renegotiate with him. Maybe you get him a little bit cheaper than you would a free agent after he acclimates. So I think Lau just makes perfect sense. I'm not the biggest McNeil fan. He's just seems to not be as much of the player that the name recognition comes with. He's kind of dropped off a little bit, and also just really expensive. So unless the Mets want to eat a lot of that contract, not the best fit. And Mountcastle, I mean, that's great power, like first base DH. But again, like not the most exciting deal, especially when Spencer Horwitz played pretty well last year. So would that shift him to second? How does that impact your DH conversation? Yeah. So what do you think, Noah?
I don't know. I mean, I think Mountcastle, like trading with the Orioles is still intriguing because I just think there are so many other guys you could package with Mountcastle. I mean, if you want to trade for Mountcastle and a Heston Kjerstad, who has been a bad big league player since he's debuted, but former top 100 prospect, left-handed bat, and then you have that platoon with him and Garcia out in the outfield. You have two guys who essentially have all of their rookie contracts still go. I think, Kjerstad still might or only have 5 years of control remaining, but so you have the next 5 years of that one outfield there in the platoon, and ideally, they could develop into being two of your three outfielders. Right. And then, but even if it's not a prospect like Kjerstad or Mayo, maybe you could get a Mountcastle and a guy like what's his name?
Dylan
Tyler
Beavers?
O'Neill. No,
Oh,
I was going to say
yeah.
Tyler O'Neill. They're going to have to trade away an outfielder. And O'Neill was horrible for them last year. He couldn't stay healthy. But I think that if the Orioles eat a little bit of that salary, I think he's a guy that might make a little bit of sense to be a throw-in. Now, if he's your biggest offseason acquisition, then you're not really trying to win baseball games. But if you're packaging him with a Mountcastle or something and Baltimore eats a little bit of that salary, then maybe you bank on him playing 100 games. You could platoon him at DH a little bit with a corner outfield spot. And, I mean, he's not far removed from a 30 home run season in Boston. So between Mountcastle and what else you can get with him, that's intriguing to me because the Orioles are going to have to start trading some of these bats away.
They have a
just
lot
because,
to
I mean,
offer.
they just only 9 guys can bat in a game at the same, obviously you can have pinch hitters and everything, but they've got guys who are probably 12 guys who are capable of being everyday big leaguers if they're healthy.
And they're trying to block their young talent. Like you got to get Basalo in the lineup somehow.
Right.
So.
Or maybe you go for an Adley Rushman or somebody. They've got probably 2 guys at every position that you can make an argument for, okay, if the Pirates could get one of them and they could plug and play. So I don't know. I'm starting to just I wouldn't say worry, but I'm starting to get confused as to what's going to be this first domino.
Yeah, I think everyone's just feeling a little anxious.
It's more. I feel like they would have liked to have made a big signing by now.
Definitely.
And the fact that a deal hasn't gotten done, I think, isn't a good look. But maybe that changes. Maybe that changes between now and the new year. So
they're not getting any more desperate or any less desperate.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, something's got to change, though.
Yeah.
Something's got to change. Want to remind everyone to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're on a mission to 1,000 subscribers, and we are quickly climbing toward that goal. You have all made it an attainable goal, and we hope that you can continue getting us there. And as a reward for your subscriptions, we have been giving out cool prizes each week. Last week's prize was an autographed Josh Harrison baseball card. You have it right there. Show it.
Yeah, there we go. This week's. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. We're about to announce the winner of this prize right now. Mark, pick a winner.
All right. Let's see. Give me a random number between like 1 and 21, Noah.
Let's go with 17.
17. All right. We have, that will be, pulling this up on the secondary list here. Scroll. Matthew Meidel. Sorry if I absolutely butchered your last name, Matthew, but you had emailed Noah. So congrats. You're going to get this sick
Matthew.
Gold parallel of Josh Harrison autograph card. That's such a cool picture. Josh, you have some of the best like tops pictures on like all your Pirates baseball cards. They
got some
really
good
hook
action
you up.
shots.
They
did.
I mean, I guess when you play as hard as you did, it's a little easier to find some good pictures. But
Hey, I got to give them something. Hey, I had to make sure I was dirty somehow.
yeah, there you go.
I was going to say, if there was a dirty uniform Hall of Fame, you would have been you never had a clean jersey ever.
Hey, let me know I was putting in work.
Yeah, gotta put the clubbies to work. Yeah.
Your mom's laundry detergent bill had to have been sky high back in the day.
Oh, I was the youngest of 3, but I probably was the dirtiest one though. So they're probably glad when I was done.
Nice. All right, so that is our prize for this past week. Our prize for this week we will announce on next week's show. It is a good one, and it will be our final prize that we have for our December giveaway series. If you want to be eligible to win it, what do you need to do? You need to be subscribed to this show. Send us a screenshot. You can email it to me. My email is nhiles@post-gazette.com. It's in my Twitter bio, and it's at the bottom of all of my articles that you can read at the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Or you can just screenshot it and comment below on any of Bucco Territory's social media posts. That's how you do it. Or, get the attention of Mark or Josh as well. And we will put your name on the list, and we will see if you are one of the lucky winners for our next prize. I will say, objectively, this is probably going to be the best prize out of all of them. We've given
Easily.
away
Yeah.
a pair of Pirates tickets to any game, not opening day or Paul Skeens bobblehead day, but every other game. A Paul Skeens rookie card, or is it just a Paul Skeens card?
Yeah, rookie card. Yep.
Paul Skeens rookie card, an autographed Josh Harrison card, and this last prize, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be the best of them all. So make sure you're subscribed and enter enter for a chance to win. And if you've already been entered and have not won, fear not. You're still eligible for this drawing. So again, subscribe. Want to remind everyone we're on a mission to 1,000 subscribers. Fellas, any final words as we wrap up yet another show?
I can't think of anything other than, hey, something's got to shake soon. Something's
Winter
got
of
to
Ben
shake
is
soon.
coming. Winter of Ben is coming. Here we go.
Big thanks to Bryce for joining us on the show.
Yeah,
Shout
thank you.
out to the Hall of Pretty Good. Give that a follow on social media if you don't as well, or as already. He's Josh Harrison. He's Platinum Key. I'm Noah Hiles. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Bucco Territory. We'll see you again soon.